episodes.
Right.
What are you wearing? Why you got my jumper on?
It's cold in here, and I've
You've been through my bag outside. What have you got? What have you got on for?
I've only got a t-shirt. It's cold in here.
That's snug on me. It looks like it's still on the hanger on you.
How? It is snug on you. Why is it tight on me?
Because I'm a big sausage.
You are. You're just like a big, meaty, horrible sausage.
Yeah, it is. It's quite fitted on me.
It's quite fitted on me. How was that?
No, it's not. If there's a gust of wind outside, you'd fly off.
I don't think so.
You would. You'd be like a kite.
I feel like I'm stretching it.
Don't stretch it. I don't like it having pulls on it. Don't stretch it. I know your game.
It feels quite cheap, this.
I know, you cheeky get. I know your game.
Yeah.
That's Cotton Traders. You're trying to get onto my deal, aren't you, with Cotton Traders?
I didn't know you had a deal with Cotton Traders, but I've got to say, what a classy jumper that's No, I didn't know that.
Yes,
But
it's part of my.
I
think it's my winter collection on
I was
my.
like, oh, I'm freezing in that studio. I've only got a t-shirt. I was like, Will's got a bag.
No,
full of
I'll
stuff.
tell you what it
What I
is.
was supposed to do. What were we supposed to do?
I'll tell you what it is. See this I'm wearing? This is called merchandise, right? And this is our 2 Pints with Will and Ralph hoodie. Ralph has turned up today without his because he forgot
it.
Because he was on the dirty beer last night, I reckon, and he forgot it.
It was nothing to do with the dirty beer.
It was
to do with me being an imbecile.
Yeah, with you going, what time have we got to be there? Well, I'll make that half an hour later. I'll just roll it when I want, and then I'll forget all the stuff I'm supposed to do, and then...
I have to say, I was late, and I only woke up about 5 minutes before I set off. I was like, shower, blah, it'll be
Didn't even
fine.
bring your own
Didn't
clothes.
pack anything. Just put on some nice gear and was like, that'll be fine, and forgot.
Right, well, there you go. So you've got my... Don't stretch it!
Sorry, it's just...
What?
It's just tight on me.
It's not tight on you.
It's a bit tight. Have you only got little shoulders?
Piss off, it's
like
tight
I've got
on you.
bigger
It
shoulders
looks like
than
it's on an hanger on you.
I feel like I've got bigger... Well, that's because I've got bigger shoulders.
Don't talk out your balls.
Anyway,
Right.
how's tricks?
All right, yeah.
How's your peepers?
My eyes are good. They're getting better all the time. Like I said, do you know what's mad is, yes, I've had my lens replaced and all that sort of stuff on my eyes, but there's a bit of a glaring thing at the side, which is getting better all the time. It's not 100%, and it's only been a couple of weeks, but that's expected. But I keep going to get my glasses, like in the evening, or if I'm going to read something. It's like habit. I keep going to get, and I go, oh, I don't need them.
Do you know what's really funny?
Weird.
Well, it's not a confession, but funny you should say that because earlier on you went to read something, we were talking, and you got your phone and you went, oh, let me have a look. And I was like, he's not putting his glasses on. He's not going to be able to read that. And I completely forgot. So you don't need them anymore.
I don't need them anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's still, it still freaks me out what I've had done if I think about it long enough.
Oh, yeah.
I think somebody
Viscerally, it's gross
has
to
put
think
something into my eye and took out one of my lenses.
Like it's about that big. They've taken it out and put something back in.
I know.
It's so weird.
I've got to check up tomorrow for it. But yeah,
All right.
all good.
Did you see? It was funny. Did you see when we put like this production, the podcast production, put a clip of us? Of you show it? No, it was before we did the clip where we were talking about your eyes, and you were talking about something else. And one person on social media was like, "Someone wearing sunglasses indoors, that's the sure sign of a knobhead." And every single comment below was like, "Will's just had eye surgery. Do you want to think about who's the knobhead here, mate?"
No, I didn't see that.
But I also I was a bit like, let's not all pile on. It's probably someone just trying to have a bit of a laugh, probably misjudge. But what he could have done was just delete the comment.
You know what? I did see a couple, and I posted on. I posted something. By the way, I'm wearing sunglasses because I did think if somebody just looked at this clip, they'll go, "What a knob!"
You would, and I would.
would.
You'd see that and be like, "Mate, take your bins off. You're looking at an absolute helmet."
Exactly. I don't understand that. Do you know what point of your life do you become such a knobhead where you wear sunglasses in a nightclub?
Do you know what? In a nightclub, do you know which one makes me laugh? The Tube. You're literally underground. You couldn't be further from the sun at this point. You know, apart from people who feel like if they've just had to, or they've got sensitive eyes, or blah blah.
But there you go.
But it's like if that's a fashion choice, it's like you're on the Tube.
But now I don't judge you now because I think they could have had lens replacement.
Well,
surgery.
I bet this
Saying that I do. Anybody who walks into a nightclub with sunglasses on, instant knobhead.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely fair. That's a rule. That's a 2 pints rule. I'm having a cup of tea. You can.
No, listen.
You can talk about these beers as much as you want. I'm too old.
No, it's not about that. I really do think now, it is 2 pints with Will and Ralph, and we was always like, yeah, we're having a beer, we haven't got a sponsor. No, we're going to drink our next beer when we have a beer sponsor.
Do you know what? If anyone's listening and you want to be a tea bag sponsor, we'll take that instead. The beers can do one.
Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
A tea bag sponsor? Why? I don't know what you mean. What? Explain yourself. What do you mean?
It sounds a bit weird.
In what way? Explain yourself.
Sponsor me a tea bag. Sounds a
Sponsor
bit
me a
sexual.
Does it?
Yeah.
In what way?
How do you fancy sponsoring me a tea bag?
You keep saying I don't understand what you mean. Why don't you explain
I
it?
don't
to me?
know. I had a glint in my eye. Could you tell?
No. Is that because of the surgery?
You nod off and I'll teabag you. That's what it means.
Oh, right. We're talking about teabagging. That's okay.
Sorry.
And
I tell you what.
You're like knocking on people's doors.
Yeah. I'll take a
Your
teabag.
neighbours. I'm doing a sponsored teabagging. I'm raising money for Alzheimer's. 24 hours non-stop teabagging.
Hello.
And everyone's like, wait,
Hello.
are you doing the teabagging or
sponsored teabagging?
are you doing or receiving the teabagging? You're like, no, I've got a few
And
volunteers.
also, I tend to cater towards old people's homes because I don't like people with teeth. Don't spit tea all over me jumper.
Ah! I've got to clean it. That is, we've got to cut that out.
No, we don't. I was about to say, where are you going?
I've got to clean this up. I've got tea everywhere. It's gone right up my nose.
Oh, have you got a tea? Yeah, I've got a tissue here.
Oh, hello. Oh, right, okay.
No, I was thinking about teabagging, and
Of course you were.
only because you just said then, like, it's a risky move, the teabag. It is a risky move, isn't it? Because, like you said before, the clampdown, like instant bite reaction. If someone's asleep and you do a quick teabag and they go, "Ay!"
Do you know? Sometimes we talk about sensible, serious things, but this is definitely more up.
No, it's open, innit? It's a conversation. There's things that you can't really.
Dear me.
I wonder if you'd get done now. You probably would, wouldn't you?
For what?
Teabagging someone like
Well,
your mate
I would think so.
at a
Yeah.
party. That's when it used to happen, didn't it?
No.
What?
No. I've not walked around through my life going, I wonder who's going to get teabagged tonight. Will I be doing it? Will I be receiving it? Oh, it's a lottery. No.
There used to be a general consensus when we were in Hollyoaks back in the day, and we'd have a party, and there'd always be bodies sort of drooped around, asleep
Passed
at the end
out.
about 5 o'clock in the morning, and someone would always wake up with one eyebrow.
Hollyoaks horror.
You must have woke
fall
up with
asleep.
a cock drawn on your face at one point in your life.
No, I haven't.
Like when it's aimed into your mouth like that.
No, never.
Have you never?
I feel like we've moved in different circles.
I thought we was at the same party.
Okay, we have been
you left.
we have been at the same parties.
Yeah.
I was definitely. I think we've told this story before, but yeah, before we did 2 Pints, we met that time when I was mates with Matt Littler, who played Max Cunningham, and he said, "Come to a Hollyoaks party. It was fancy dress. You were as the vampire Lestat,
Yes.
and I came as Batman, and Matt came as Robin.
Yeah.
And we'd never met each other, and we didn't actually work together for probably another 2 years.
Yeah. We were dancing to Men in Black.
And Men in Black came on, and me and you just
We
stood
do the
next to each other going,
routine.
just bounce with me, just bounce. And that is so weird to think that we did that, had no idea, and then 2 years later, there we were.
There was in the Hollyoaks back in the day. I was like 19, 20 when I started Hollyoaks. We had lived in the house with the boys. Me, Nick Pickard, Jeremy Edwards, and there was a guy called Paul Lation. And even in the daytime, there was always you'd come home and Paul Lation would be hid somewhere and jump out. Or we had a TV delivered, and it was like one. Do you remember the big TVs used to be massive?
Yeah.
And he was hid in the box for hours, just waiting for someone to come through the door, like Kato. From Pink Panther. You just jump out.
Yeah.
And Nick Pickard, honestly, you know what he's like. Jumped out on him and he was chasing him around the house, shit himself. Well, Nick fell asleep on the couch and I was in the kitchen and Ben, who was staying with us, Ben Hull, was in the kitchen. And I went into the living room and Nick was fast asleep and he had a bit of tape on his foot from the mark where you stand and you hit your marks when you're acting. Yeah. And it was stuck to his foot on his sock. So I set fire to it. Because it looked like a firework, and I come.
That
back
is
in,
so you,
and
by the way. Oh, that looks like a firework. I'd better set fire.
Well, I just
to
thought, oh yeah, this will be funny. And I come in to get Ben, and just to let him know I'd done it. And obviously, because of whatever, it was either the smell or the
fire on his foot.
No, what the sock was made out of, but it went up like quick, and he just woke up screaming, and running around with his foot on fire. So I had a bad chance to come and get him. I wanted to come and show him, and Nick's jumping around with his foot on fire, and it was just that kind of house where if you fell asleep, there was problems, and that was just that was just one of the occasions.
You must have. You left home. You're 19. it's like a student. So I had a
Yeah.
similar life when I came to London and I had housemates. It's like being a student with all the kind of lack of responsibility and being away from home and going, oh, this is great, I'm away from home and I'm mad. But with like money.
You had money, yeah.
And like status and everything. So it's like, I mean, it's carnage, isn't it? It's absolute carnage. Well, my early 20s were carnage.
It was incredible. It went literally. I remember we spoke on the last podcast about when suddenly you're thrown at the deep end and suddenly you're famous. I'll never forget that moment of when I got the part of Jambo, and then I had to do the costume fitting at the weekend, and then I was filming on the Monday. So when it went out, they did this big press junket, and you're like a deer in headlights. You're just going, what's that? You just swept along, and all of a sudden there's pictures of me on bus stops, on buses, and the cast, and you're in magazines, and then you go from just me to people now know me and want to shout things at me in the street, and I've just got to take that. No one taught me how to deal with that.
Well, and let's be fair.
And I didn't take to it very well in the beginning.
Well, I was going to say that. Well, okay, so from my point of view, let's be fair before anyone thinks that we're sort of going boo-hoo, it's really tough. Like the vast majority...
I'm not saying it's tough, I'm just saying it was something you had to get used to.
But for me, the vast majority of that side of things, I'll be honest, I really enjoyed. Suddenly you've got status, you've got like cult, you've got social cachet and a bit of money. It
wasn't all positive, they used to shout horrible shit.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, there is also a side to it. But even like the social stuff, I feel like in life, like when it's always really interesting to see how a person reacts to having power in any way, like whether it's political power or financial power or whatever, or social power, in that suddenly you're getting recognized. So people feel like people want to talk to you and they want you to engage with them or whatever. There's a power in that. And I just think that you can always tell a lot about a person once they get a bit of power and how they start to treat other people around them when they've got it. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not thinking of a particular example, but I'm sure that I've always thought of myself as quite an affable, nice guy, but I'm sure there's plenty of people I met, particularly in my early 20s, that were like, he was an absolute knobhead. Because nobody sits you down and kind of goes, we should talk about how you're going to behave.
Take it day by day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and no one's teaching you. No one's giving you a blueprint. You're just like, I'm 19 and figuring this out.
And also, when you are 19, 20, you are a bit of a knobhead. You just sort of...
Well, exactly.
You want to impress everybody.
Yeah.
I was the loudest person in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Being proper show off, me too.
Yeah, showing off. And so, I think it's just that, you have to navigate your way through
But weirdly, sorry to interrupt, but like I've just had a thought. Weirdly, if you are at university and it is a sort of student life, there's still that kind of social cohesion and hierarchy that you had when you were at school. So you're still growing and learning when you're a bit of a knobhead at 19 and you're away from home. You're sort of still figuring out how to fit into that world. But when you're doing what you were doing at 19 and I was doing at 19, people can't really put you in your place in a way that might actually be healthy for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you're acting like a dickhead because you're 19 and you've got ego and you're showing off and you've got whatever. But because of the way our industry works, it's very difficult for someone to go, can you stop being a dick? Because people don't do that to actors.
Though, there wasn't anything...
Like, no, I don't mean horrible. But
no, it was more about, I just was high on life and just couldn't believe what was happening to me. I didn't know how long it was going to last. I thought, I'm going to enjoy all this.
Yeah, me too.
It'll be over next week. You never know.
I definitely...
I mean, I'll never forget the time, there's so many moments in time, with being on TV and stuff, which has been an amazing... I mean, I'm so grateful for this life that we've been blessed with. But I'm saying at the same time, there's some moments that just stand out and you just think, if you thought about that for a minute, you wouldn't do it. And me and Michelle having dinner, not me doing it, me and Michelle having dinner, this was before we were married, and I was sat, and then this guy comes over with his girlfriend and just says, yeah, mate, hey, you'll have that lot of telly, aren't you? We just signed me bird's tits. We're having dinner, and this woman leans over in front of my wife, well, my girlfriend now, and just pops her tits out, just the top bits, and he's got a pen in his hand. And I thought, you've not thought this, too. I was like, mate.
There's four of us now in a difficult situation.
And that's your girlfriend. Yeah. And he was like, oh, go on, just sign her tits, mate, go on. And Michelle went, just sign them. And it was just like,
you're like, that's going to be my wife.
But do you know when it's like, that wouldn't happen in any other situation and any other person. It was just a strange... And there's loads of times that happens.
Do you know what was a weird one for me? Is now, if ever I'm on a flight or a train or anywhere and I feel like, I might fancy a nap.
I know what you're going to say.
Have I told you this?
No, I've seen you do it. Put a big coat on your head.
You have seen me do it. You've seen me do it on a plane.
What are you doing?
So, yeah, I
know why you do it.
And it's because I think when I was 19... maybe 20, and I was coming to London, maybe even younger, but very early on, one of the first ever times I got recognised. I was on a train down from Manchester to London, and I'm just asleep, and I'm the ugliest sleeper you've ever seen, and my head sort of lolls like this, and just drool just comes down onto the, and it's the, so I'm like this on the train, not thinking nothing of it, and I'm going like that, like Homer Simpson, and somebody's obviously recognised me while I'm asleep like this.
And teabagged you.
And that's the story. And so I always, and so now I always go to sleep with an apple in my mouth.
Go on.
So now I always sleep when I'm, and you've seen me do it. I'll take the jumper off, or I'll take my coat off, and even if it's boiling under there, I have to put a coat on me like a weird little ghost.
Should someone?
And somebody. The reason is because I was asleep like this, and somebody, I've just felt this. I just felt. Somebody's grabbed me by the shoulder and shook me awake and gone, "Hey, you're in royal family, aren't you? Oh, I love that." Then sits down next to me and starts trying to have a conversation. Who wakes me up when I'm drooling everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, people just don't. That was such a weird thing.
Yeah.
But again, no one prepares you for just going, some weird shit's going to happen. Your life's going to change. And tell the story about where you were talking about you and Michelle having dinner.
What?
This is quite mortifying for me, but I don't mind because it's funny. And the reason I'll say now,
this is when, yes,
yeah,
this is you being
obviously, yeah, but obviously, it's like you lighting a fire, like in Nick Picard's foot on fire. I just thought it would be just a funny, silly thing to do. But you look back now and you go, oh, it's so mortifying.
Do you know what it is,
Tell the story.
I don't know what it is. I think sometimes people expect you to be a certain way, and you become that.
Oh, 100%.
I do all the time because people
100%.
want gas most of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
and you just think, I'll just make that moment they meet me
Yeah.
a positive one.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anybody in our industry, when someone comes up to them and wants to meet them, you would make that a bad moment.
Yeah.
They want to meet you. You're probably going to speak to them for 30 seconds to a minute. Make that minute a memorable, nice moment. Don't make it a bad one, because they'll remember that forever.
Well, I feel,
and I don't see, it doesn't take much effort just to be nice for that minute. I don't understand why anyone wouldn't do that.
I've always felt the same, and let's be fair, right? For me and you, what we've had our entire lives, I certainly, and I think you'll probably agree, I certainly have never been recognised on the street or in any walk of life so much that it's overwhelmingly just like, it's just too much, it's just too much.
No, I don't think I could handle being like Robbie Williams.
Well, this is what I'm saying. If you're Robbie Williams or David Beckham, I can understand why you, everywhere you go, you're just a bit like, I just want to be left, can I just go be, because, and the way I said it is purely, think about this mathematically, right? Imagine a pub of 100, there's 100 people in a pub for ease of numbers. You're David Beckham or Robbie Williams, you walk into that pub, every one of those 100 people is going to know who you are. And if every one of those 100 people just wants 2 minutes of your time, that's 200 minutes of your night. That's hours, right?
Yeah,
so when you look at it
especially
like that,
if you're with your family. And
so when you look at it like that, you go, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now for me and you, for me certainly, if I walk into a pub and there's 100 people there, 3 people might know me. 4.
I'm probably the same.
At most 10, right?
It's manageable, isn't it?
And
it's
if
not a
they
problem,
want 2 minutes of my time and just come and say hello, I'm grateful that they even give a shit.
100%.
So I do understand that there are levels where it starts to get like it's too much. Now, if you are at like mine and your level, where I've been like my whole career, I can't imagine a world, unless something's really going wrong and I'm really busy or I'm just desperate for the toilet or something, somebody comes up to me and goes, "Oh, yeah, nice to meet you." Yeah,
go away.
Whoever is going to go, "Can you leave me alone, please, mate? I'm just trying to have a pint."
I've seen it.
Oh, I've seen it.
I'm not going to mention names, but
I've seen loads of people do it.
And I've actually apologised for that person. Don't worry about them. They're dickheads. Yeah, I'll talk to you, mate. Come over here.
Yeah.
Because I hate to see the disappointment. I've seen people do it with kids. A lot of footballers I've seen. Do you know, like kids stood there with a pen or a paper. And listen, if you're not going to sign the autograph, fine. Just acknowledge them. Hey, mate.
Yeah.
It takes a second.
Yeah.
And even if you're not going to sign it, they'll remember that second forever.
Did you see Rory McIlroy and Roy Keane on that exact note?
No.
So Gary Neville and Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher's podcast, I think it's called Stick to Football.
Oh yeah, it's good. I listened to it.
Rory McIlroy was on, and Rory was telling a story about how Roy Keane was his absolute hero, and he said, "Oh, we did actually meet when I was 12 once." And Roy Keane's like, "Oh yeah, did we?" And you know how Keane has just become that little bit. He started to really know like his reputation. He's amazing, and he's got that little smirk where you just know that he knows like he's funny. And Rory goes, "Yeah, so we were in a hotel. You were in a hotel. You were playing whatever, and I was in the hotel. And I came up to you, and I was like, 'I'm sorry, you're my hero. Can I get an autograph?' And Roy Keane's like, 'Oh yeah, what did I say?' And Roy McIlroy goes, 'You turned around and went, "Not today, kid. Do one.'"
Did he really?
And Keano was Keano is just going, Oh, that's bad. That is bad. But to be fair, Keno was like, I think I remember that hotel, and I think we were like late for training. And there's, you don't know what someone's going through on a particular day.
I did it with my dad. I went to a Man United thing with my dad years ago, and we'd been invited into where the players were. It was like I want to say like a race meeting, like a horse racing meeting or something like that. And they had a box area, and I was invited in there. We was all part of it, and the trophies were there and stuff. And I'm walking through with my dad, and I was sort of like, I always wanted to say to my dad, just, don't go too mad on it, you know what I mean? Because he's so excited, but at the same time, he's my dad, so...
Yeah, you want him to have fun, but you're also like, play it cool a little bit, Dad.
They're off work, you know what I mean?
Cool, yeah.
And I'm walking through, and there was Dwight York and Andy Cole sat down. My dad went, Coley! Put his hand out, and he just turned around and blanked my dad. Oh. And I think it was Wes Brown... put his hand up, hey, hi, mate, and sort of overcompensated.
Yeah,
bless. He might have been having a bad day, but at the same time, I just thought, there's only me and him in here. It's not like not like a queue of people.
Well, that's the thing as well. You can go,
we've been invited in,
yeah.
And my dad's just got a bit excited. Now, listen, I'm not saying Andy Cole's a bad person or anything like that. All I'm saying is, at that moment, he didn't want to know, and it would have took him a second just to go, hi, mate. That's a lot quicker than turning away.
Yeah.
And then Wes Brown came over and was like, hey, mate, and then that was that. But I've seen it many a time. And I don't. To be fair,
just on the off chance Andy Cole ever does listen to this, like we also understand. We also understand you might be having a bad day.
I just said that. But I'm just saying.
I agree. As a mentality,
I'm saying
that's not
if he'd have just said, "Hi, mate," I wouldn't remember it.
Or
it shows you how much you remember a negative moment more than the positive ones.
Do you know what you can do? Is that, especially for us, when you're a footballer, it doesn't really matter because you're getting paid to do that. But for us, people's opinion of us affects our lives and career.
Yeah.
Every single person that gives a shit about what we do facilitates our career and how lucky we are.
We're the lucky ones.
How can you not fucking take 2 seconds just to say thank you and chat to people?
Let me just tell you this. One thing everyone says to me when they meet me, well, 99.9%, they come over and go, I bet you hate this, don't you?
Yeah, I get that all the time. It's like, no, not at all,
I'm the lucky one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've dreamt to do this all my life. And then straight away, put them at ease and we'll have a bit picture, whatever. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But listen... Say, on the other hand, I've had people come up to me and be absolute dicks to me, and they don't get that time. They don't get that side of me. I'll just tell them to fuck off.
Do you know what I don't like?
I don't deserve it. I'm a decent person. Don't come up to me and call me a wanker to my face and expect me to be a nice person.
How do you feel about this? I find this really weird, and I find it weirdly intrusive if anyone happens to be listening, right? You can sometimes see out the corner of your eye when someone's recognised you. You can sort of see them do a double take and then you sort of whisper to their mates or whatever. My feeling on that, if I see that out the corner of my eye, I think... they might come over and say hello in a minute. Yeah. No problem. Good sound. And if they don't, whatever, that's, whatever. What I find really weird is when I've seen someone recognise me and I'm talking to you like this, or we're having a meal or whatever, and you see someone secretly take a photo of you from a distance.
Yeah, just come and ask, innit?
Just ask. Just ask. Yeah. Now, some people will be listening to this going, well, I didn't want to disturb you, but I still wanted a photo. And it's like, well, then you don't, you come and ask, and if you get the photo, you get the photo, and if not, you don't have the right to that photo. That's privacy. Now, that's not me I would rather you came and asked, because if you come and ask, I'm very happy to go, nice to meet you.
It's not just that you don't want to look all bent up on you with a fork in your mouth.
Well, this is what I mean. I'd rather not have a photo where I'm like half blinking and I look like... Just ask. Now, in fairness, we can't speak for everyone. Some people who do what we do in our industry would hate it. They don't want to be asked all the time. So there's no one golden rule, but just if anyone happens to be listening, for me and Will, just ask.
Listen,
we're not only do we not mind, we're more than happy to meet anybody. Any single person that gives a shit, we're more than happy.
Listen, we got to go back to the story.
Yeah, we got distracted. I was about to say.
Distracted. Ralph.
This was me being a knobbard at 19.
Well, no, like I said, I think you walk into a room, you've got to be. Hey!
Yeah, that's exactly
first time Ralph meets Michelle, I'm in my flat. And I'm renting this flat. We were filming 2 Pints. And she's been dancing all day. She was a dancer. And she hadn't eaten all day. And she just made herself a bowl full of like noodles and stuff. And she was sat. And she just put it on her lap. And I went, hey, I love, meet Ralph. And Ralph puts his face in her bowl of noodles and just starts eating it. Does not put his full face.
That's not a euphemism, by the way.
Ralph. It's an innocent story. You took it to another place. You're not going nowhere near my wife's noodle.
Bowl of noodles in her lap.
Ralph
he puts his face in her bowl of noodles and starts eating it. No wonder she was a bit taken aback.
Do you mind, Ralph? Michelle's going to be listening to this. You're going to be mortified.
I didn't get any brownie points for that.
See? You mentioned the brownie points. I hate you for that still. So he did. And
I just went like that. Oh, nice to meet you.
And Michelle's a bit of a germaphobe. So then her dinner was ruined. She just puts it on the side and then to try and make herself some more food. It was the first time she'd ever met Ralph. And it was just, that was him, that was his way of...
Well, it was just sort of trying to be like, it's like, oh, no, so, I'm a bit silly and a bit crazy.
Exactly.
Oh, nice to meet you. But you look back and you just go, what were you doing? Why? What were you doing? But you're exactly right. It's you become that thing, that sort of caricature that people think
I do
that
it all
you
the time. I tire myself out doing it. I've
Yeah.
had to try and tell myself, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't have to be the attention. Because I don't go in there thinking, I'm going to try and get attention here. I just become.
All right. It's great, isn't it?
I end up talking to everyone for 3 seconds because I'm bouncing off all the walls.
It's
This is like ADHD gone mad.
Yeah.
I'm just, and then when I get home, I'm knackered.
Do you see? I find this as well. You get home and no one's around, and you just sit down. You don't even turn the telly on. You just sit down and you go. It's not like you've had a physically exhausting day, or even necessarily mentally. You've just been going. Well, I've got to be doing this, and then you just go. Oh, I don't have to do anything for anyone.
And no one asked me to do it. It's just the way.
No, I know. It's not like oh, it's a chore. It's like you can't stop yourself. Yeah, I'm exactly.
I have got a story about Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
We had because Robbie. I mean, we all seen the documentary, and it makes a lot of sense. And I've got a lot of time for.
Well,
for
talking
Robbie.
about imposter syndrome, it's really suffered with it.
But do you know when you talk about the height of fame that was at, and he was a young kid, the heights,
the height.
I
thought you said the height of fame.
probably did.
Yeah,
the height of fame.
Tell me all about the height of fame.
That was my Chris Eubank impression. So So we was at is it the Point? Is it in Belfast or something or whatever? Is it in Ireland? Sure. It's a big concert hall, and my single was out, When I Need You, whatever, and I was singing on
Number
that.
2.
5.
Number 5.
Yeah. And there was Boyzone and All Saints, and I think Robbie was seeing Nicole Apperton. Was it Nicole Apperton?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Nicole.
He's seen one of the Apperton. Anyway, I think it was. Anyway, we're all on stage, and then afterwards, the cars we get taken off, and there's crowds everywhere, and Robbie's he's huge. We get back to the hotel, and he's like, "There's a party in Robbie's room." So we all sort of scuttle up there, and he's got this suite. Denise Fountain's in there, and JK, and this. I remember I was sat in an empty bath with Keith Duffy from Boyzone and a bottle of Jack Daniels, just chatting shit. Yeah, I remember what I found amazing. At the bottom of the bath, there was a telly. I'd never seen that before.
No.
I was like, he's got a telly in his bath. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, back in the day, that was like,
so
no
everyone
way.
was all sort of dotted around having their own conversations. And Robbie is in the room being him, and then he just walks and gets in the wardrobe, right?
In his own, Robbie Williams was in his party, and he just went, suite. I'm just going to get in the wardrobe.
He just went and got in the wardrobe, right? And then half an hour, 45 minutes goes by. I was like, where's Robbie? Oh, he's in the wardrobe. He'd been in there for a good 45 minutes, if not an hour.
Right?
So I was like, is he in the wardrobe? And anyway, he just came out, the doors opened, and we all sort of looked, and he went, Narnia's bullshit. So he said.
That's amazing.
And then just carried on. They'd been in there.
The commitment to that joke is amazing.
Narnia is bullshit. And then that was it. Off we went, and I was just like, that's genius.
That is genius.
He thought, I have to make it long enough.
Yeah,
like I'm looking
I have
for
to
that.
commit
I
to
have
this.
to commit to it.
Okay, so this is right. So bearing in mind what we were talking about before, about like just going, you have to be on and blah, blah, and then sometimes you just get home and you're just like, no one's around. I don't even need to put the TV on. I can just not have to do that. When you were saying that he'd been in the wardrobe, before you did the Narnia's bullshit punchline, I was wondering if, and maybe both things are still true, I was wondering if...
Just some time to himself.
Yeah, honestly, but especially given you've seen his documentary, you've seen out about how he always felt like Uber felt that he always had to be on. And then that was balanced with like imposter syndrome too. He's talked about it very openly in his documentary. It wouldn't massively surprise me if in examining that moment, it's a bit like, there's a party, there's Will Mellor and Keith Duffy with Jack Daniels in the back, there's Denise Fountain, it's mad and I've got to be on and I'm Robbie and I'm blah, 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 blah. I can't go to bed, everyone's in my room.
Get in the wardrobe.
I honestly, it wouldn't massively surprise me. It was like, I just need to go somewhere dark and quiet for a second and not have to do this. But then he's in there and he's going, everyone saw me get in this wardrobe. How am I going to get out of this wardrobe without it looking? And then just stayed in there. But And both things can be true. And
Yeah.
maybe that's not true,
I like
but
the
both
fact
things
he's
could
just
be true.
looking for Narnia.
But
That does
I
me
just
in.
find it so... I mean, he's a very funny guy, Rob. I've known him for years because of football. I've played football
Yeah.
with him for years, and you've
Yeah.
probably bumped into him time and time
Yeah.
again. He's a very funny guy, and he's a very kind of... He's weird, Rob, because he's both really humble, really friendly, sort of slightly shy and very kind, and at the same time completely egotistical, show off and whatever. And he's got.
I
this,
think that's
and he
what I
knows
mean.
that.
He
and he's
knows
got
when he's
both
got to be on, though. I
Yeah,
think he's
exactly.
got this other side
and
to
he's
him
got
like
both
everybody
of
else.
those things fighting for dominance all the time. It must be really, really
I
tough.
never forget when I moved. It was Primrose Hill. I was
Yeah.
renting a flat there because I was doing Oh What a Night.
Oh.
No, I wish I'd have been in
Primrose
bought
Hill,
it.
were we?
I wish I'd have bought it. I remember at the time, it's a 1-bedroom flat on King Henry's Road, right? And if you don't know Primrose Hill, it's proper expensive. But back in the day, this you're talking...
Well, it's where, for people that don't know, back when Noel Gallagher was famously that party set, Kate Moss and Tim Frost and all those guys. It's
right near Regent's Park.
Noel Gallagher had a house called Supernova Heights,
Yeah,
famously,
yeah.
and that was in Primrose Hill. And
Davina
that's
Taylor bought it.
Exactly.
And he owns it now. He writes the books. He does... in what's he called? David Williams. He bought it. Anyway, I think he did anyway. I rent a place there because I'm doing a musical called Oh What a Night where I met Michelle. So you're talking 20 odd years ago, 22, 23 years ago, more. Anyway, so then I'm renting this flat, and it came up. I said, "How much is it?" And he said, "Oh, it's 250 grand." I was like, "For the flat?"
Behave. Yeah, I know.
It's probably worth 1.6 million, 2 million now. I
easy,
wish I'd have just
easy, I know.
had the money to just go, I'll put a deposit on it. But my story is,
Oh, sorry.
I'm in the flat, and the flat at the back, it's a first floor flat. So I had a bit of a roof thing at the back where I could step out onto. So it was like the top of the garage of the flat below, but it was like a roof thing for me. So I could have a little bit of outside area. And I was watching Man United against Liverpool. And I was watching in the flat, and we were winning at half time. And as I walked out the back, Liam Gallagher walked out the back of his house because it was back. His house was on the other side,
yeah.
and he walked out the back. And I went, "Hey, you all right?" He went, "All right, lad." And I was like, "You watching the game? We're playing well, aren't we?" He went, "Are you a red?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Fuck off," and walked back in the house. He just walked back in and never spoke to me since.
So I met Liam for the first time. Probably around the same time, like the turn of the millennium, around 2000ish, and the royal family had come out, and it had started my career, and I was living in London at this point. And somebody invited me out to dinner, and it was at Trader Joe's in Park Lane, right? Not Trader Joe's, Trader Vic's in Park Lane. Trader Joe's is an American supermarket. Trader Vic's in Park Lane, and I'm sat there, and I think it might have been Nicole Appleton. Somebody was friends with it. Long story short, I was sat next to Liam Gallagher. Right now, I've never met him at this point. But I do know that Oasis wrote the theme tune for the royal family. Craig Cash was big mates with Noel. The royal family was sort of part of that last phase of when Manchester was kind of the cultural epicenter of the world.
One.
All the music, all the football,
great time.
Britpop and everything. And then the royal family sort of just was part of the final stages of that. So yes, I'd never met Liam Gallagher, but it felt like we're weirdly part of the same movement, albeit him like spearheading it, right? So I was like, I wonder if he's going to know who I am or whatever. I sat next to him. I was wondering if I should talk to him. I didn't say anything. And I'm like, no, I'm probably 19. 4 years ago when I was 15, and What's the Story Morning Glory came out, it was a cultural phenomenon, and suddenly I'm just sitting next to him going, I'm sat next to Liam fucking Gallagher, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he's a proper
like
front
rock
man
star.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've not said a word, and we've got to like dessert at this point, and I've been chatting to a few other people. I get this elbow in my ribs, and I'm like, hi. And he leans over, and he goes, yeah, right. And I've gone, yeah. He goes, now fucking listen, right? I don't fucking kiss nobody's ass. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't fucking say nothing to nobody. I don't fucking care about anyone. I don't fucking ever kiss ass. But on the fucking quiet, I think you're fucking sound. Nice one. And I was like, and then just never spoke to me again. And it was,
that'll do though.
It was the most Liam Gallagher moment, and
That'll do.
I couldn't have fucking prayed for a better encounter.
That's
It was
wicked.
perfect.
And he told me to fuck off.
Yeah, he told you to fuck
Brilliant.
off. And then when I met Noel for the first time, Noel was like always my hero because the writer, and he's fucking brilliant, and he's hilarious as well. I remember for the first time we'd been to an Oasis gig at Wembley Arena, and we went down. So we'd sort of got backstage, and we went down to the after party. No one's in anybody else's room. Everyone's in Noel's room. I think Liam's left. Liam just shot off. But it's a big party in Noel's room. And there's a bouncer on Noel's room. So even though you've got access to all areas backstage, there's still a bouncer on Noel's room. And I'm like, you know what it's like. I have never in my life walked up to a bouncer and gone, come on, do you know who I am? I'd rather fucking die.
Could you imagine?
I'd rather not get in.
Has anyone ever said that? I'm sure.
Somebody must have done, but I'd rather not go. If you don't know me, I'm fine. I'm not coming in, right? So I walk up and I'm like, are we even going to get... So I've got a couple of mates with me. Are we even going to get in? Well, we've been invited, but
it's
okay.
awkward, isn't it?
And I walk up and I say, security guard's towering over me. I'm like, hello. And it just so happens he's there. And in the doorway, just having a drink, just on his phone, is Noel.
Right.
Who I've never met before. And I look at this guy and I say, can I come in, please? And he went, yeah, who you with? And Noel looks at me and he goes, taps the bouncer and he goes, oh, he's all right, he can come in. Wow. And I came in and he went, how you doing, lad? Because he'd wrote, and he's big mates with Craig Cash. Yeah. And he was just absolutely fucking sound. And I was so like, he was so not starry and so just welcoming and chill and funny that the story goes to me and my couple of mates there, we're chatting with Noel, about 30 seconds of chat, and in that 30 seconds we've had a bit of a laugh, we've made each other laugh a couple of times, and I'm getting so carried away with myself. I'm going, oh, I'm having a crack with Noel and he's sound, and I've made him laugh a couple of times, and I was just so overexcited that when Noel went to me, he goes, so are you City or United? I went, City. No, I'm not. And I've never, ever been, and every time I fucking bump into Noel Gallagher, who I've seen so many times over the years now, he's like that. Still a City fan, are we? It's mortifying. Yeah. It's mortifying.
They live and die by that.
I know. I feel so bad. Oh, one final, talking about people recognising people. You reminded me when your dad saw Andy Cole, and he was like, Coley, right? Yeah. And you just was like, Dad, please be cool. My dad came out to Guadalupe. My dad and his missus came out to Guadalupe, and he was dead overexcited to meet Don Warrington.
Was he?
Who plays the commissioner now. Don, for those who don't know.
He's been Rising
Damp. Became very, very famous for
Rising Damp.
As a sort of, in a comedy called Rising Damp, in which he was also quite the sex symbol, and, you know, all housewives across the country fancied him and everything. Don was an absolute legend. Is an absolute legend, but was in that show. So my dad was a big fan of the show. He's really excited to meet him. So I said, all right, look, I'll introduce you to my dad. I was like, Dad, it's hard to describe what my dad's like, but the number of times I'll find myself going, Dad, right? He's like that. So I was like, I will introduce you to him, but don't get overexcited and don't say something stupid. Just be normal, Dad, all right? Just be normal. He's like, of course, don't tell me, of course I will, right? Don isn't short for anything. Don is just called Don, right? My dad goes up to him. He's like, so this is my dad, Don, Mike. Mike's like, hi, Don, how are you? And Don's like, hello, nice to meet you.
That's how he talks, isn't he?
He's so smooth. He's like, hello, right? And my dad's
Teabag
like,
anyone?
Yeah. Teabag? Perhaps, right?
That's your bum. Sorry.
I can feel your damp rising.
So childish.
Right. So anyway, my dad goes, oh, nice to meet you. And he's like, I'm Don. And he said, Mike. And he says, my dad goes, this is opening gambit. He goes, so Don, that's short for Donald, isn't it? And I was like, what? And Don went, no. And my dad, I'll never forget this till the day I die. My dad, quite annoyed, quite angrily goes, yes, it is. And Tom went, no, it isn't. And my dad went, yes, it is. And Dom went, no, it isn't. And I'm just watching going,
this has gone on for far too long already.
And my dad went, yes, it is. And Dom went, I assure you, it isn't. And my dad goes, well, it says on Wikipedia it is. And I went, right, Dad, that's enough, let's go. And that was my dad meeting Don Warrington. Who, only my father, who meets someone who there is their idol and then tells them what their name is. Brilliant. And then tells them they're wrong when they tell you the correct answer.
You know, I think as well, you want to peel your own skin off.
Oh my God.
You introduce your family, you're just like, right.
It was so mortifying. Cool. I work with Don day in, day out, and we're friends and whatever. And suddenly my dad just turned up like this absolute chump. Yes, it is. It's like, I felt like going, if you say yes, it is to him one more time, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Stop it. It was very funny.
Before you were talking about the 90s and how that was, some of the best time. And I think it was the last time of being truly free. I don't know if it's because I was younger.
I know what you mean. Noel Gallagher said this recently, actually.
Did he?
Yeah, in an interview.
It was
he said the exact same
before
thing.
the internet before it took over properly, and before the control started.
Things felt hopeful politically. There was a new sort of
the music,
Labour,
scene,
everything,
everything
everything
and
felt
there was all kinds of music.
Pre-internet, really. Well, pre-internet, so there wasn't everything you did and every mistake you made wasn't there forever for everyone to see for all time. Like there was definitely, it was the last time people were truly
life
free.
before social media, and was it better back then? And I think that's the sort of the question. And I think it was. I really do. I think social media, yes, it's give people more access to people, but I don't think that's a good thing. Do you know, like stars back in the day were stars. Mm-hmm. Like you didn't know nothing about them, and that made it better. Yeah. It made them feel like if you saw them, it was a massive deal. I remember seeing giant haystacks in a petrol station once when I was a kid. It used to be on Wrestling with Shirley Crabtree. What was it called? Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Right? For the younger generation, you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about.
I mean, I barely do, but go on.
It was like, it was unbelievable to me. And I remember I met Jim Bowen once at Butlins. It was massive. You know what I mean? But I think it dilutes the fact that we get to see more of people now.
I mean,
do you think that?
Well, I think it goes both ways, right? Like things like I don't know, you see LeBron tweeting or you see people tweet, and you just kind of go, there is something quite nice about going, these people who seemed just another footballers to us when we were younger, to see them being just very human and normal and having
that's a good thing.
I think there's something nice to it. I think there's sort of several sides to this.
Yeah.
But I do think that I think there's problems with like privacy. There's problems with data now. Data like harvesting and all that. Data's more expensive than gold.
Wow.
Like it's worth more than gold. Like I just think that we invented this thing. I mean, not me and you. Humans invented this thing and then went, right, it's out there now, let's go. And of course, what happened was people were like, great, how can we make money out of this?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fucking danger to it that no one's really figured out. And no one's really figured out how to do anything about it.
I think it's like an uncontrollable ball rolling down a hill and we just can't stop it.
100%.
And I just think now it's just going to keep growing. And what can we do about it is not much. We can't go backwards.
Aside from individual privacy and things being online forever, aside from all of that, there's very real world effects like election rigging and voter influence and all of that kind of stuff. That's like really problematic.
And AI is just gone ridiculous.
No,
I mean, there's going to be a point where they're saying in the future, obviously, that they won't really need actors to do a lot of the work.
Well, you know the strikes that was. People might not realize. Some people will, but some people won't. But there's just been a big SAG strike, Screen Actors Guild strike in America, which has had knock-on effects for here. So loads of programs for months have been down tools. So our industry is having sort of quite a thing, and the reason for that was. There was having to be a massive renegotiation of terms with studios and so on to get more rights for actors and performers and writers. That was a different strike. And one of the main sticking points, one of the main things that finally the Screen Actors Guild managed to get our performers' rights for is AI. And contracts and documents and agreements were signed that they can't just... They can't just cast Will Mellor but not pay you and just scan your face and just put you in. And it took a long time to get that agreement.
But do you know what they said they can do though? Like is it goes to the wider scale of supporting artists as well.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to pay extras. We're just scanning 1 or 2
5 faces and just triple
multiply
them up. Yeah.
And there was a guy I met on set the other day and he went, "Oh, my business is gone." I was like, "What?" He said, "We did cars." So we did like any cars you need, old police cars, 70s, 80s.
Action vehicles.
So he said, no, they just scan them in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said, obviously it depends on the budget.
Yeah.
He said, because if they have, but he said it's easier and cheaper and quicker.
Yeah.
And I think easier, cheaper and quicker isn't better for
not necessarily. It might be better short term, but it's not better for everyone necessarily long term.
No, so it's, and I've seen as well, it was, going back to the 90s thing, that things are starting to come back from the 90s. Have you seen
90s
the
fashion? Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad baggy jeans have come back.
Well, are you? Because you see, here's the thing. I refused, like someone who's not very fashionable. I refused, right? I was right up until about 2005 10 years, it's a good 5 years after I was like, it's time to get more fitted jeans, mate. Fashion's moved on. I was like, nope, I still wear jeans that look like bin bags, one attached to each leg. I absolutely refused. And finally, in about 2006-07, I was like, fine, I'll move with fashion even though I'm way behind, and I'll wear the sort of more fitted jeans. And I was like, these suit me way better. Why didn't I do this years ago? I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I can't face it.
The problem I've got is, as soon as I got the skinny jeans, the fashion changed. It's like, I haven't got any baggies. You just told me that I'm that far behind because I'm a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
And also,
just keep all the shit from 10 years ago and it'll come back around.
I'm not sure. It looks good if I can count the change in my own pocket when I've got my jeans on. I don't think that looks good.
Yeah.
You know, you can see.
Oh, you don't like the two? I'm not saying skinny, but fitted. I never went skinny.
Them spray-on jeans.
Well, have you seen the size of my arse compared to the rest of me?
It looks weird.
I couldn't wear that. I literally. So my whole life.
You've got an unfeasibly large arse.
My whole life before I started doing the fitted jeans and experimented with the skinny jeans, I'd always wondered why men just put jeans on and why women have to do a little dance. Right. And the first time I tried on a pair of skinny jeans, I was like, oh.
Did you do the dance?
Yeah. So I got them down there and I pulled them on and I've got them as far as my arse and I was like, now what? So I was like this. I was like, that's why women have been doing that my whole life. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I was saying that about fashion is apparently indie sleaze is coming back.
Oh, I can't
What do you think about the indie sleaze? Do you remember the indie?
Indie sleaze, so basically you just look like you're homeless
and on heroin.
Yeah, you just look like you don't wash and your clothes you've been wearing them for 10 days, but that outfit costs $1,000.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
I thought that was shabby chic. Have I got wrong?
I don't know.
What is indie sleaze? Apparently it's coming back, and
I don't know.
Going back to 2005, you'd see.
Listen, I'm fine with this.
Don't stretch in my
Cotton Traders jersey.
Oi, don't! He's not getting in on the deal. It's my deal.
You ever fancy the Thinking Man's Cotton Traders? Why are your arms so short?
Leave me alone. Fit. Stop stretching me bleeding jumper.
You've got these little T-Rex arms.
Piss right off. But no, I'm with you. I can't follow fashion. I wear what I like.
Honestly, I've given up. I'm like, I know what looks pretty good, and I'm just gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Although I came in the other day, a couple of weeks ago to do an episode.
Actually, you did look different.
And you were like, "Why are you so dressed up?"
You said, "This is what I do now."
This is what I do now.
So you do think about fashion, but it's your fashion.
I didn't think about fashion, but I'm not gonna. I can't be just chasing trends. I haven't got the time. I'm not very good at it. Who can be asked?
Do you like shopping?
I can't stand it. Can't stand it.
Why? I don't understand. What is it? I mean, I know. Are you allowed to say the difference between men and women nowadays? Am I allowed to say that?
There's plenty of guys that like shopping, but I think it's not an unreasonable stereotype that girls love to shop.
I will go
possibly
to a
more
shop.
Than guys.
I will go out if I need some shoes. I will go out, get out the car, go to the shoe shop, buy the
first
shoes.
pair of shoes that I like. I'm buying, and I'm out.
I'm going right. My wife goes shopping. Oh, especially with my daughter. I don't go with my daughter because I end up skint. Because she'll just go, look, I need that. But Dad, you don't understand. I've got no shorts for holiday. And I'm just like, right, get it.
Yeah, whatever, get it.
I just end up the miserable man sat in the corner looking at his phone.
Yeah.
While they'll just go and unfold things. Just unfold. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. Nah,
Do you want it?
That.
No, I don't want it. But,
yeah.
So
if I look at...
Have you ever heard this? What are you doing? Going window shopping.
What, just not buying anything?
Looking in windows.
No.
What's the point?
I can't be doing it.
What's the point? I don't get it.
If I need to go and buy a coat, then I'll go, what kind of coat do I like? Okay, I'll go to that shop. I'll walk in, and I'll go, that one. And often they'll go, do you want to try it on? I'm like, it's a coat, it'll fit. I'm so late. I hate shopping so much that I'll go, if it doesn't fit when I get it home, I'll bring it back, which is twice the hassle, but I can't.
I tell you what, don't go in TK Maxx. It's like a pissing jumble sale in there. You find it's like a fight to find your size. What sizes? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Wait,
are they in numerical order?
No.
They're in a numerical order.
They're a good deal, but you got to find them.
Yeah,
you got to rummage through. There's clothes being thrown everywhere. No one hangs anything back up.
Somebody's like, I bought this 50 quid top for £2. It's like, yeah, but you spent 70 quid worth of your own time finding it.
So true.
Yeah, no. It's I'll tell you what else is going on, by the way, which we haven't mentioned. What? We're moving into February. It's a leap year.
What does that mean?
Well,
I don't get the leap year thing. I don't understand it.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yes, but well, that's what I mean when I say I don't get it. I'm waiting for you to tell me what it is.
So
I don't get it.
So calendar months and years and 300. They're a man-made invention, or rather, they're a man-made designation of how to chop up time into days and hours and whatever. Now, obviously, the Earth goes around the sun in a certain amount of time, and we have arbitrarily said that's 360. Well, not arbitrarily. That happens every 365.
I'm a bit bored.
Right, whatever. Time is like basically we've decided on it. However, when we've split the number of days in a year into a normal year, 365, it's actually 365 and a quarter in a year.
Right.
So every 2 years, it's 365 and a half. Every 3 years, it's 365 and 3/4. So to make up that extra day, to add those every 4 years, we add an extra day. So it's 366 days.
Wish I hadn't fucking asked. My God.
Too interesting. Right.
I glazed over. That's why I didn't do well at school.
A normal year is 365 and a quarter days. So every 4 years, we have 366
So
days.
what happens if you're born?
Well, exactly. You want to get a birthday every 4 years.
What? That's shit.
On the 29th of February.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Right.
I mean, I guess obviously you have your birthday on the 28th of February, but technically the 29th only comes around once every 4 years.
Right.
And also in a leap year, it's traditional for women to be able to propose to men. Now, obviously, we live in 2024. You can do that whenever you want. But certainly back in historically traditional times, if a woman hadn't been proposed and wanted to marry a guy, it was socially acceptable for a woman to propose to a man.
I'd feel a bit cheated. I'd feel like I'd not took my moment.
Really?
As a man.
You want that life opportunity?
Yeah, I do.
Well, tell me about your proposal. What happened?
I told you. Remember, you said you're the cheapest person because I did it on a free holiday that my brother-in-law paid for.
Yeah, you did.
On a free private jet.
Yeah, that's it.
On
Don't
a free boat.
Yeah, it's awful. This brother, you went to Sublimotion.
Yeah, same person.
Yeah,
He paid
go on,
for-
shock.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable time, and I took the ring to propose to her in the Grenada. And I've told you all about it before, but it was great because I didn't have to pay for any of the trip. I paid for the ring, but I proposed on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean Sea.
That's all right, isn't it?
To our favourite song, and it was
Which was?
emotional. All My Life by Casey and JoJo. All my life, I plead for someone like you. There you go.
Did you have to do the?
No, I just felt awkward doing it. So I had to, that was me being awkward.
Yeah.
But I tell you what it is. I'm old school when it comes to being a man. Like, I think it's my job to provide for my family.
You
I
do
think-
shock me.
Yeah, well, but that's okay.
I know.
Listen, it's my opinion. It's what I feel, and I like the fact that I provide for my family. I like the fact that that I do. I take my wife for dinner and I open doors and do
pull
the
out
old
chairs,
schools,
open the-
all that sort of stuff. And I like that, and I'll continue to do that. So I think part of proposing, I'd feel like I'd let her down if I hadn't done it. If she's had to do it to me, it's like, how long has she been waiting for me to propose? Where she's going, fucking, I'll do it then. You know what I mean?
That's much more my style.
I'd feel like I'd
And
let,
I'd be like,
I'd let her down.
should we discuss this again next year?
What do you feel? Because you're not married.
I know what you mean. I to the sort of wider point outside of proposals, actually. I think that's an interesting thing about going, well, I want to be sort of traditional and masculine and manly and whatever.
It's just who I am.
But I also want to acknowledge that, like, a lot of, like, just because things are tradition doesn't necessarily mean that they're always right. So
No, just what's right for me.
Yeah, well,
Doesn't
exactly.
mean
And
what's
it's
right
like,
for everybody else.
there are definitely some people out there that if you opened a door for a lady, there are some women out there that might be like, I could do that myself.
That pisses me off, to be
Well,
honest.
I know it pisses you off.
No, someone said it to me. Someone's
know.
done it to me.
But
Someone
it's a
said
bit
to me,
like-
I was like, oh, sorry, love, I'm not your love. It's like, I'm not being in a
know.
condescending way.
But
you
look,
know-
to play devil's advocate there, I get that and I agree. But again, we're men, and it's who knows if that woman spent her entire life like having felt she's been condescended to. So it's a bit complicated. But my point is, it's like I'm both like a bit of a traditionalist. Like I do like the idea of being a gentleman, but also I'm always trying to think about going, like. A girl, one of the crew, who's a mate in Guadeloupe. Loads of people were. We went to another town for the weekend, to a beach town, right? And on the Sunday, we're all heading back, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll carry your suitcase down the stairs." Because it was a heavy suitcase. I said, "I'll carry your suitcase down the stairs." And she's a mate. This girl. She went. I can do it myself. God. And I went. All right, you crack on. It was 4 flights. After the second flight, I went. you want me to carry that case, don't you? She went, yeah, could you carry the case, please? Yeah. But so I get it's complicated. Now, as for proposals, I kind of agree. Like, I think it's...
Would you feel a bit like you've let her down by not...
Well, unless...
You think she's been waiting for ages?
Unless it's like in the first year you've been together, happens to be a leap year, and she's gone, will you marry me? In which case you're asking a lot of questions like, wow, you really wanted to get this done because we haven't even been together that long. That's a whole different question. Yeah. But if you've left it 4 years and then in the end she's like, well, fuck it, he's never going to ask me, I might as well do it.
Yeah.
I get that. That you're a bit like, maybe I should have pulled my finger out at this point.
Yeah.
We've got some, actually, on this... We've got some proposals that have gone wrong.
No.
Do you want to see some?
Do you know what? They're so cringy because it's the one moment you don't want to get it wrong.
I know.
You've got to read the room with a proposal.
Absolutely shaking. This is at a food court.
It's what?
At a food court.
At a food court, so he's not thought it through. You're already losing. There's a bloke clapping in the background. Look, it's not even started. Look, it's him. Oh, they're all saying say yes. Oh, Caroline's going to say no.
Oh, Caroline, what are you doing? Oh, she's having a meltdown. She looks haunted.
He's on one knee. Oh no!
There's a guitarist.
There's a guitarist.
Oh
no! She's not going to say no. Oh no!
Mate, there's a guitarist in a mall at a food court.
Oh no!
Oh, the song's awful. Oh, and he's out of tune. So good. So good. So good.
What's going on?
Right, let's fast forward.
What's going on? Hang on, he's back on his
he's
knee.
back down again. He's back down.
What's he going to do? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, this is dragging it out.
Oh
Ralph,
no.
there's people filming it and everything.
Oh no.
Will you marry me? He said it. Oh.
She's gone.
She's run off. She's gone.
Everyone's wondering where she's gone.
Oh no, even the bloke in the wheelchair looks like, get me out of here. It's like, wheel me out of here. That was cringe.
Oh my God.
Oh no, he looks absolutely melted.
Oh my God, he's...
Oh no.
Worst day of his entire life.
Oh no.
Worst day. There's no coming back from that.
Oh
But,
no.
right.
Do you know what the thing is there? At that point now, is their relationship over?
Yes, 100%.
So
100%.
So that's what I'm saying. So they obviously were boyfriend and girlfriend or were engaged. Now he's got nothing.
Well,
how's it gone from engaged? We don't want to marry you, but now they can't come back from that.
I'll tell you what I think about that, right? About that specific situation. Why? Because I think, what am I thinking? I think if you go, will you marry me? And that all happens and you do this big song and dance, and then she says no, that doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship's over under normal circumstances, because you go, okay, maybe now's not the right time to marry. We're not in the right place, but propose again and we'll see. But do you know what I've got a problem with? Why couldn't she just lie in front of everyone and save his fucking dignity? Why not just go, yes, and then walk off into private and go, listen, I'm so sorry, I'm not ready, but I didn't want to fucking embarrass you online in front of the fucking world. Yeah. And actually, if she does that to me and she's go, but I still want to be with you, I'm like, you can fuck off. You've made me look a right prick. It's all over social media.
I can't go in that food court ever again.
Do you know how much I paid? £6 for that guy to sing Sweet Caroline out of tune. You're out. But why not just lie? Why didn't she just lie and say, yes, of course, and everyone applauds and everything. He's not humiliated. She's not, and she's like, babe, listen, I'm sorry, I love you, but I don't want to do this. Or, Christ, even if she doesn't want to be with him, can you not be like, oh, this is a gorgeous thing. Come with me. Let's go and have a talk and at least spare somebody's, but humiliation, man.
Oh.
Although, he did propose to her in a food court. Yeah. And I feel like that was a bad choice.
And I think it's always a little bit cringy when you do it in public like that.
I'm not, I would never do it. Do you see them all the time?
Private moment, I think.
You see them all the time at like in American sports games. It's like on the big screen, it's like, and now we have a special announcement. Yeah. And it cuts to her and he's like, and you just see a woman going, why would you do this in front of everyone? What are you
Have
doing?
you seen that video of that guy? Do you know when they pan around the audience and it's people and they show it and there's a guy, he's snogging this woman like that and, and he looks at the screen, looks over and he goes, and pulls away.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
He's obviously
like
cheating on his missus. He's obviously just been caught
clearly
on national
in mid-affair.
television. He's took his side piece to the game and got caught on national television, lipsing her up.
Oh man,
What he should have done. He's done what your mate did and took her to the restaurant.
Yeah,
take her to
the restaurant in the dark.
The restaurant.
I feel like that one's gonna. What's it? Don Le Nuit. I think that one's gonna run for the rest of our. For the rest
I
of our
think we
podcast.
should go to that restaurant in the dark, me and you.
I'm not sitting next to you. What have you got planned? I'll be like that. That's not a knife. It's thicker and.
How was your sausage?
It's thicker and warmer. And
How was your sausage
sort
taste,
of
Ralph?
floppy. Absolutely not. Do you
Well,
know?
don't bite the sausage. It's better if you just lick it.
I'll be like, hold on, let me get my fork. Right, we're coming to the end, but we should do a little shout out for our tour.
Yes.
We're back on the road, as you know.
When's our first date? We're in Leeds in front of
April the 4th.
That's
We're in
like a
Leeds on
test
4th
show.
of
So
April.
if you're in Leeds, it's only like a 500 seat. It's a test show. That's
Come and
more or
see
less
us.
sold out. But
But where are we going? We're going all over the place. Leeds,
Manchester,
Nottingham, Birmingham,
Newcastle,
Wolverhampton, Sheffield, Newcastle, and now
Scarborough and Scunthorpe
as well. We're talking about, we are thinking, there's discussions
Trying to get
being
down
had about
south,
whether
yeah.
we're going to be able to come
We're
down
gonna
south.
try.
As we've said before, we don't make those decisions. So there's no point in email. There's no point in getting us
No,
in
we're
touch
not
with
even
us
on
on
the
social.
show yet.
Yeah, you can get in touch with us on social media and go, why nothing down south, guys? Don't you love us anymore? It's like, it's nothing to do with us. What do you think we do? Book the venues.
Yeah.
But yes, we are looking into it all. The team is looking into it all. So please do come along. Ticket sales are going pretty well, actually, it has to be said. So try and get onto it before they go. www.twopintspodcast.com find out more, or just go to the link at the bottom of this episode. And if you have got tickets or if you are going to buy tickets, let us know. Give us some feedback. Go to the website. Let us know what you'd like to see us do.
Tell us your stories.
Give us any ideas, because we haven't got any and we need a show. So let us know.
No, we'll be fine. And just, send us in any would you rathers or any of your great stories. If you've got any stories that you think we'll find funny and you want us to tell to 1,000 people and point you out.
Yes, that will happen.
That will definitely happen.
Will happen. Yeah. So come along.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. And
I don't think is there anything that we haven't covered? I feel like we've covered everything.
I don't know what we've said.
I've explained to you what a leap year is. You didn't understand it.
I still don't get it. I still don't get it.
Do you know what? Should we just turn the lights off in here and have dinner?
Don't look at me like that.
Get
that jumper off. That's what you can do.
I'm taking the jumper off and I'm getting out of here and I'm gonna put a tea bag in here. So leave me alone.